In 2025, the Money Table, in partnership with Favor Together, will be focusing on topics that address the strategy, language, and economical landscape of the 12 dimensions of poverty. But for today, let's talk about two powerful ideas: free will in the church and at will employment in the workplace. On the surface, they seem unrelated, but both are rooted in one concept: choice. And how we perceive and respond to those choices often reveals deeper truths about ourselves and the systems we navigate. What's important to understand is that both the religion and business mountain systems influence the flow of resources, opportunities, and power, which many don't realize are the core factors in addressing poverty on all levels. So, where is the breakdown in each system? For example, some religious institutions say we don't want the world systems infiltrating our spaces. Meanwhile, the world says keep church systems out of our workplaces. At first glance, it seems like these two are at odds, working against each other and operating in completely different systems. But what if I told you that their systems are more aligned than we think? So let's take a closer look at the surprising parallels between these two societies and what they can teach us about leadership, accountability, and the power of choice. In the religion mountain, free will is central to faith. We know and understand that God gives us the ability to choose our path. A pastoral leader, no matter how much they guide or counsel, they cannot override your free will. The choice to believe, to follow, or even to walk away is yours. And for most people, that's not seen as oppressive, it's seen as empowering. My choice, my responsibility. But the outcomes are yours to own. Now let's shift to the workplace. In the United States, we have the concept of at will employment. Employers have the right to make decisions about hiring, firing, and other workplace changes without needing to justify them. Just like employees can leave their jobs without giving a reason. You remember the Great Resignation. But here's the twist. Unlike in the religion society, these choices are often perceived as unfair or discriminatory. But I ask, why the double standard? Is it because in the workplace, choices often feel transactional, even impersonal? Or is it because we're quick to attribute employer decisions to things like bias, favoritism, or any of the other isms: racism, sexism, ageism? I'm not saying that the isms don't exist. The main priority of inserting that into the discussion is because we're looking to see why the double standard. The truth is, both free will and at will are systems of choice, but our response to them often depends on how much control or influence we feel we have in the process. So, what am I trying to say? In both systems, the power of choice comes with responsibility. In the church, we're encouraged to choose wisely because our choices have spiritual consequences. In the workplace, choices, whether yours or your employer's, can shape careers, relationships, and futures. The reality is, how we navigate the choices that we make, it influences and impacts how the 12 dimensions of poverty will affect our life and the lives of those we are connected to. So, to further this discussion, I would like to address at the table: what can we learn from both systems? How do we challenge the mindsets that lead to unfair practices while respecting the freedom that choice provides? DM me if you'd like a seat at the table to share additional insights on how you see the balance of choice and responsibility in these two systems. So I'll leave you with this. Just as a pastor can't force faith and an employer shouldn't abuse at will policies, we each have the responsibility to steward choice well. Let's continue this dialogue on choosing wisely for ourselves and others so we can eradicate the 12 dimensions of poverty that's impacting any area of our life. See you next time at the table.